Hey Money Vikings, welcome. Thanks for joining me on my walk today. I've been re-watching, especially with the market turbulence, I've been re-watching some Charlie Munger videos and interviews. I wanted to go through three kind of concepts that he used to build wealth, basically billions of dollars actually in his case, that I thought were kind of appropriate and kind of cool. The first one was he talks a lot about inverting questions. I guess he was in the military and he did something like weather mapping or something. And instead of asking himself, what would he do to avoid a pilot from crashing, he first asked what he would do to actually kill a pilot in order to know what to avoid. And so it sounds like a little bit of a strange story, but it makes a lot of sense actually. And I think he's applied it to investing and wealth building. So he asked himself, what things do I need to avoid in order to not be poor? Or what would I do? What would I do to destroy wealth, right? And it's a key question actually. If you ask yourself what you would do to destroy wealth, you know right away what to avoid. The awful, consumer debt with the, $1,000 a month car or truck payment, right? That's one big thing to do to avoid to not destroy wealth, basically, right? So anyway, instead of asking yourself, how do I become wealthy? That's a key question too. But it's just invert the question and you'll know the big things to avoid. So how do I destroy wealth? How do I live a poor life? Well, you don't take care of your health. You don't invest in your relationships. You don't treat other people well. You go for the get rich quick schemes and chase the market and chase the next big thing. You don't think long term. Well, there's a lot of good ways to destroy wealth, right? So I thought that one was pretty good. I also call it stress testing your ideas. I always like that concept of stress testing your ideas. Okay. The second one that he talks about is humility. And this is basically understanding that unless you're an expert in something, you're not an expert in something. So there's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of things to know. And investing can be so overwhelming for people, I think. And this is especially why I stay more and more away from individual stocks. And maybe the only individual stock I really like is actually Berkshire, but that's almost like, it's almost like a fund, an actively managed fund or index fund, because it has so many companies in it. It's not one company. I don't know how many holdings they have. I'll have to write in the comments below. Write in the comments below how many holdings Berkshire has, but it's probably a few hundred, I'd imagine. So it's pretty well diversified across a lot of different industries as well. But Charlie talks about knowing what you don't know the edge of your competency. And for me, this translates into keeping investing principles simple. This is why I just talk about a very simple, straightforward approach when it comes to investing. And, I personally like we've talked about before, just an S&P 500 index fund and maybe some bond funds and a few other diversified Vanguard or Fidelity funds, maybe some that are focused on technology, maybe one that's focused on real estate, etc., right? So humility, that was the second one. Now, the third one was probably the most critical, and I actually didn't know this about him. So we're calling it staying rational, but what it means is staying invested. So he was interviewed several times. There were about 3 or 4 occasions, I guess. I think it's 3. There were about 3 different occasions where Berkshire Hathaway's stock fell from top to bottom 50%. And he was asked each time by, journalists and reporters, are you highly concerned about this? This dropped 50%. And every time, from what I could find in my research, he basically said, no, I'm not concerned at all. He said, this is just the way it goes. this is long-term investing. It has its ups and downs, but overall, it goes back up, is the key. So, you know, you got to just roll with the drops in the market if you're going to be an investor and you're going to invest. And I bring this up now. I got onto this research because of what is going on right now, right? There's a lot more market turbulence right now. And for some people, this might be the first time that they are actually experiencing some heavy market turbulence. And so they're kind of freaking out. I'm not freaking out at all. I feel like I've gone through 3 or 4 of these, you know, with the dot-com bust and the Great Recession of 2008-9 period. The pandemic saw a big drop right away when people freaked out. And every time the market comes roaring back at some point or grows. So, you know, they really are, in my experience and estimation, those really are buying opportunities when you're dollar cost averaging. And what you'll find over the long run is if every 2 weeks you're plugging in that investment, you're going to find that basically you're buying more shares. You're buying shares on the cheap, and over time those go up. And the thing that really always stuck with me, and you guys know I hit on this a lot on the channel, is that there's never a magical day when you're supposed to take the whole, you know, the whole investment portfolio, let's say of Berkshire stock or S&P 500 or whatever it is, or a bond or a fund, and sell the whole thing. There's no magical day like that. It's not a romantic movie with music. What it is it's a passive income machine. So over time, you're building up this portfolio, and then at some point you're taking out a certain percentage or a certain amount every month to live off of. And you know, that's the idea. So in that way, if you frame it that way, and I've always tried to think of these mental tricks so I don't freak out about market drops, but if you frame it that way, you're kind of not worried about what it is day to day, month to month, or even if there's a down year. So there's a down year, you know, it's fine. You're not selling the whole thing. So, you know, those are 3 mental tricks that there's a lot of things I like about Charlie Munger, the late, great Charlie Munger. And, you know, you can tell now that Warren Buffett's starting to get into his twilight. He's, you know, he's aging and getting up there. So we won't have these guys forever. And it's good to learn as much as we can while they're around. Hey, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you get some value out of this channel. And we'll keep making some, I hope, some really value-added content for all you. Thanks. Take care.